right now, but we will check out some more gameplay in just a second. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is the sequel to 2017's, one of the best-selling games on Switch. It's one of the only times we've ever seen really Nintendo sort of relinquish the reins of what other the studios were allowed to do with the Mario franchise and licenses. They let them have guns. And this is interesting because this one is actually going into space. It's going after the sort of like Super Mario Galaxy aesthetic. We've got the Lumas here in bizarre handmade sandbag form, and then in rabbit form, which is very, very scary. This one seems to be opening up a lot in terms of gameplay. You'll be able to sort of like travel planetarily. And also it doesn't seem like it's as grid based. When it popped into some gameplay, it seems a little bit more opened up, a little more open-ended. So I'm wondering if they're moving away from the sort of like kind of specific locked-in strategy approach to make something that's a little more action-oriented. What do you guys think about this?
I hope not. Like,
yeah.
I loved the grid sort of gameplay. I mean, I was not a big XCOM person, and this was kind of my introduction to the XCOM style of gameplay. It was extremely accessible.
strategy in a different kind of way. There's an old PS2 game called Ark the Lad where it kind of was like this, where you kind of had this free circle to move around, and everybody's weapons had this like set way that they would hit, right? And so you see in the footage, you see her throw her boomerang and it hits two different people. So instead of it being this like, oh, I'm behind cover, so you have a chance to hit me or a chance to not, it's going to be more about like moving and trying to find the perfect place to stand to maximize how well your weapon kind of goes. Because I bet they're not showing it, but I bet you're going to see like a line come out of her, and so that's where you're going to try to position yourself to try to do as much damage as you can, versus just everything being a numbers game. I actually see this as a bit more. The other one is the first game gets very, very hard.
Yeah,
it gets very hard, just like XCOM does. And so I see this as a little bit more approachable. I also noticed that when they're running around, that's more in 3D, where in the first game, even outside of the battles, it was still very top down, and you were basically still more or less on a grid. This looks more 3D behind the person kind of run around it. I loved everything I saw. As someone who loved the first game, this game looks awesome.
Like on paper, it's funny, the first game leaked as well before ahead of its reveal, and everyone was like, kind of scoffed at it, but it was super fun. It was an awesome game, and the sequel looks even better. Mark, tell me about Rainbow Six Extraction. Is this what players want with the Rainbow Six franchise? This seems like an interesting new take.
It definitely seems like it's something that it seems like a game mode to me, and apparently it was a game mode back a few years ago, and they were like, "Hey, we're just gonna make a whole game about this." I don't know if it's for Rainbow Six Siege players. I think it's more for people who have thought, "Hey, Rainbow Six Siege looks cool, but I would just get trounced," and so now I'm playing against basically bots when it comes to the aliens. I think it could be a draw to try to get people like me in. I don't know if I don't know. It looks cool, but I don't know if it's something I would want. I'm more of a Left 4 Dead kind of, Back 4 Blood, like, let's just kill some aliens. And this is very like destructible environments and planning and putting cameras in. And it's
a weird move, right? Because like I feel like people who love Rainbow Six Siege are still playing it after 6 years, and they're continuing to support it. And then people who would perk up their eyebrows or whatever, why not just make a new IP entirely? Like, Ubisoft is clearly putting a lot of eggs in their Tom Clancy basket, but like, I don't know. This is an odd choice. It doesn't look particularly terrible, but it also doesn't look, it doesn't look, mind blowing or anything. It's definitely one of those like, who is this for kind of products.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with all of you. We are excited to keep talking about all things Ubisoft, and we've got a deep dive into Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Home. We are actually talking to the developers about that. But before we do, we got to take a very quick break, so stick around because more Summer of Gaming will continue on right after this.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by USAA Insurance and Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard. And by the Amazon original movie, The Tomorrow War, exclusively on Prime Video July 2nd. And powered by Duracell Optimum, the official battery sponsor of Summer of Gaming 2021.
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
And welcome back, everyone. We're still here in the afterglow of the Ubisoft Forward event, so let's get right back into it. Max is no longer blue. He cured his disease. Tons of new reveals happened today for details of games that we knew about and some new stuff that we want to talk about right now. Max, tell me about Riders Republic, and please don't turn into like a bicycle or anything.
I was going to put on my cool dirt bike hat and do some stunts. No, so we saw this revealed a while ago. I think it was originally slated to be released earlier this year, but that sometimes just doesn't happen. This looks like a way more fun version of Steep. It's basically it seems like something between The Crew and Steep and Trials kind of all mashed together. And I just love how sort of celebratory and wacky it is. You've got apparently first person downhill mountain biking, and just it looks like they've definitely taken that sort of big open world formula and made it into like more of a social space, which is interesting. I mean, this looks like the sort of peripheral stuff that gets added to Fortnite here and there, where they're occasionally like, oh, we've added new go-karts or whatever, but that's the entire premise of this game, which I'm into. Like, it definitely has some Far Cry in it even, it's just very like over the top, and it's got those Just Dance animal costumes. This looks like the most Ubisoft game ever made, and weirdly, I'm kind of into that.
It reminds me of the Wii Motion Plus like pack-in titles where they just drop a ton of people on an island and they're like, have fun, and you're like, all right.
Mark, that is damning praise.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Ubisoft's Woohoo Island, basically. I think that like what they're doing here is really interesting in terms of sort of kit bashing a bunch of different ideas together. We've seen them do this with The Crew, where they go like, "Hey, if you like vehicles, you'll love this." But this seems a little bit more focused, but also has that kind of, Ubisoft chaos that I think we like. I say I think we like because I don't know if there's like anything here that like screams you'll love this, but it's just enough little ingredients coming together that it could be super fun.
It kind of reminds me of Steep, It reminds me of like a more accessible version. Steep is like super hardcore, right? But it's like, it's winter sports and you can kind of do whatever. And it's like, this seems like a more cartoony, kind of more accessible version.
The word you're looking for is fun. It looks more fun than Steep.
I'll be the one to say it. This game needs blood and tons of it. They can't have this many people crashing down the mountain wearing animal costumes without them exploding in just violent, piles, puddles, and hoses full of blood. We need blood, guts. I'll pay extra money for it. I'm just saying.
I want them to turn loose a bunch of wild animals in here.
100%.
Like they clearly have a bunch of like digital panthers and bears and crap laying around. They should just do like for an event, be like, guess what, everybody? You're going to have to snowboard away from Yetis now. And we're like, oh no, it's ski free all over again. Here we go.
That's when the servers get shut down. They're like, all right, guys, just pull all the levers, unleash animals onto the island.
Lucy, you spend what I imagine to be a lot of time in the sort of afterglow of, a happy hour from home while chipping away at hobbies and a bottle. Tell me about Rocksmith. Tell me about Rocksmith Plus.
And a more accurate sentence about my personality has never been spoken. It's true. I have tried to play the guitar for about 20 years at this point. Not to, look how old I am.
21. You're 21.
I'm
21. I'm 21. I tried to learn very early. But look, sort of Rocksmith hit the scene at the very sort of tail end of the big plastic instrument boom, right?
Yes.
And it was its whole sort of mission statement seemed to be less about like just pressing buttons on a plastic instrument and more about sort of teaching you to play the guitar. And then it sort of kind of like flitted off into oblivion as all of those games sort of did. But what I love is how they've pivoted it. I mean, they've reimagined the whole platform. Yes, it is a subscription service, but if you want to learn to play the guitar, this seems extremely accessible to me. Again, have not tested it, but this seems like extremely accessible. I mean, you can create your own arrangements. It seems very personalized, and it seems like it's a very good sort of tutorial app for people who are trying to learn to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And, for those of us who have struggled for so many years, such as myself, it looks really accessible. It looks really fun. And it just looks like that nice middle ground between like the plastic instrument boom and actually just like, and sort of YouTube, the scattershot YouTube model of like teaching, learning to play an instrument through YouTube videos. I just think this seems really cool. It seems like you can really tweak it to your own sort of skill level. And watch this space. Like next time we have a chat about this, maybe I'll be able to play. I mean, what are the songs that I've tried to play throughout the years? So many. Let's not even get into it. But like, I love this. I really think it's very cool.
Yeah, I can actually officially confirm that when we do the show a year from now, you will do it entirely in song form with an acoustic guitar surrounded by candles. It's going to be like unplugged. It's going to be amazing. Lucy's going to do it. Lucy, I believe in you.
It's my dream. It's my dream, Altano.
Mark, a brand new open world endlessly fun Assassin's Creed game was announced today. Just kidding. No, it wasn't. They are actually expanding on Valhalla for longer than they have any Assassin's Creed game prior. Tell me about what's coming new to Assassin's Creed, the old game from last year.
Yeah, so they started that whole thing saying that Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the best received Assassin's Creed ever. And so it's like it's they had said a few years ago that they didn't want to annualize Assassin's Creed anymore. They wanted, to take a break. And then, Odyssey came out and then nothing. And then Valhalla was huge. And so you kind of, we're all kind of left wondering, so are we already going to get another Assassin's Creed this year? And it seems like 100% no, where they're going to just keep expanding on Valhalla, maybe even into next year. They we got the, what was it, Wrath of the Druids, and then there's still more DLC, and now there's even more, and then apparently we're going to hell with a possible Ragnarok tie-in. Yeah, this is just a game that they can just kind of build on for a long time, and if a lot of people are playing it, then I guess that's fine. It is the age of the Viking right now.
Right. It's bizarre to me that this is their biggest Assassin's Creed game yet. Probably one of the biggest Ubisoft games ever made. I went on howlongtocomplete.com or whatever, how long to beat. And it's like 120 something hours to 100% this game. So this was never short on content, but for the people that loved it, which, it sold really well, people really connected with this game. It's going to keep giving, which is kind of amazing. They also have this sort of museum mode that has sort of become synonymous with these games at this point, where you can kind of poke around and learn. I'm less about that. I don't like to learn.
So we recently heard that Ubisoft is pivoting from making single player adventures to doing more games as a service, or whatever you call it, the ongoing support for existing games. And if this is how they're approaching it, I'm kind of into that. My first thought is they want to make every game into the Division, but if they're going to just sort of have longer tails for DLC and more content dropped in a big game like this, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
I think it could be cool. I think you do eventually start to see diminishing returns, right? They can only show the Assassin's Creed Valhalla logo so many times before you're just kind of like, all right, I'm ready for a new Assassin's Creed. To get that hype back up, Watch Dogs Legion has DLC still coming out, but if they all of a sudden were like Watch Dogs 3, that's what gets it back into the conversation. So I think this is cool to kind of they built this huge world. Let's now build upon it. But I'm interested to see how long something like that lasts before they're like, all right, we have to show something new.
Yeah, it's a tough line to walk. You want to sell new copies of a game that's a hit, but also, how do you service the fans that have been there for a while? That's kind of Ubisoft's whole thing right now. There is, of course, even more to discuss out of this Ubisoft event. We're going to take a very quick break, and then we're going to come back and, you guessed it, do just that. Join us, won't you? Because IGN Summer of Gaming continues with more E3 coverage right after this.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is presented by Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard. And by the Amazon original movie, The Tomorrow War. Exclusively on Prime Video July 2nd. And powered by Duracell Optimum, the official battery sponsor of Summer of Gaming 2021. And presented by USAA Insurance.
Not only is IGN the world's biggest media brand for games and entertainment, but we also have a team of some of the world's biggest fans of your favorite franchises. From breaking news and exclusives, never-before-seen looks at movies and games, to reviews, let's plays, and live streams, IGN brings you all the coverage you need, no matter where you are. Whether you're on IGN.com, the IGN app, YouTube, Facebook, or Snapchat, we've always got you covered. IGN, the #1 source for all games and entertainment fans worldwide.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
What's up everyone, Sydney here to bring you a little update about the future of IGN on YouTube. We've been listening to your feedback and it seems like some of you are more into games while others are more interested in movies and TV. So we got to thinking about it and decided, why not both? Our main channel will still bring you all the biggest news, reviews, previews, and trailers to keep you up to speed on the most important highlights. But if you only want games content 24/7, head over to IGN Games. Movies and TV more your thing? Check out IGN Movies and TV. More channels, more of the stuff you love, more IGN.
Welcome back. I told you that break would be short. I didn't lie. We're back to wrap up our Ubisoft post show. Before we go, we have some other stuff to talk about. We didn't get to Far Cry 6 yet. I do want to talk about Far Cry 6. I'm tremendously excited for it. First of all, Giancarlo Esposito is one of the best actors in TV history. I'm very, very excited to see him joining the ranks of Far Cry villains. We also got some details today about the sort of season annual pass thing. It seems like a whole bunch of villains are coming to this game. But for now, let's talk about Far Cry 6, what it's bringing to the table. Are you guys excited for this? Because I cannot wait.
I'm extremely excited, but I do think that, you know, the sort of the main celebration here of Far Cry 6 was that season pass. I mean, like, you know, the playable villains as post-launch DLC is so exciting because Far Cry in the last several years, you know, the selling point has been these evil villains, and these villains played with such, you know, authenticity and charisma. And I'm really intrigued to find out what sort of playing as these villains mean and how interesting that will actually be. And of course, there's the Blood Dragon, you know, that comes, like, playing Blood Dragon comes with the season pass as well, which is fantastic. I just feel like this is Ubisoft leaning into all of the all of the best parts of Far Cry in the last several years. You know what I mean? Which
is super cool because it's not really the most like cohesive franchise, right? Like all the games sort of exist in a vacuum. Yeah, they're not really connected narratively or anything like that. But there are highlights when you think back in the lineage of this series, and a lot of the villains, a lot of the locations, a lot of the, you know, key moments and craziness and blood dragons are really all part of it. So I'm really happy that they're taking all of that and celebrating it.
We didn't get a mention of this, but it was just revealed on the Netflix Geeked Week that they're doing an animated series set in the Blood Dragon universe, and it's Adi Shankar who did the Castlevania series, and it looks it's called like Captain Laserhawk, which, I mean, they announced a bunch of stuff, not just games during the show. I'm surprised they didn't have a little name drop of that, but yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to see more Voss. Like, I think Far Cry 3 is the best, and I'm excited to kill Jason Brody in a way other than just wingsuiting into the side of a cliff, which is something I did a lot.
There was a theory that Giancarlo Esposito's character in this game, his son, was a young Voss. The writers kind of nixed that recently in some interviews, but it is cool to see the Voss connection still happen here. This is obviously, Far Cry 6 is moving back to the sort of tropical location. The Kubert environment is creating a lot of really interesting stuff in terms of like kit bashed weaponry and, you know, sort of like found objects that are turned into, you know, vehicles and jetpacks and all this other fun stuff. It's scrappy and also tropical and beautiful. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff tonally happening in this game. And I think that they're really just leaning into how zany and fun it can be without going too hard on the serious side, although I think we'll see some of that as well.
Yeah, this whole like sequence here is, you know, it's not really a trailer, it's more of a cutscene from it.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Giancarlo Esposito is terrifying when he gets angry. And it's Far Cry is definitely like the series I think of when you think of like memorable villains, right? Like, obviously we're getting DLC where they're showing just the villains, and to me, like that's the highlight of every single game, you know? And so it's like he is just going to be up there as one of like the best villains in the series. Like, he's incredible, and this whole scene is super chilling, and I can't wait to see like more of him, because it's kind of one of those things where the games start very villain heavy, and then you don't hear about them for a long time. So I hope he's peppered in more than we've seen in the past.
I'm also really stoked that they're bringing back voiced protagonists.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gotten to a point now where the mute protagonist in a Far Cry game just doesn't make a whole lot of narrative sense. Like, we're coming up to a sort of like a ludo, I hate this term, but like a ludo narrative dissonance. Like, it's just like, okay, you're just going to be silent this whole time. And I love the fact that we've actually got like a character to play off now.
Right. No, I mean, to make an entire game from the perspective of like a GoPro, basically, and have you go through all this extreme stuff is interesting to a point, but like putting a personality behind that, or multiple personalities behind it, because now you can choose the gender of your characters, is super, super cool. I actually got to talk to the developers of the game and the writers of this game. We will have that video up on IGN in a little while, so look forward to that. In the meantime, I do want to cover off on some stuff that didn't happen today. some stuff that I think was kind of missing. Obviously, there's a lot of sort of, ideas and concepts kicking around at Ubisoft right now. One of the big ones is a game that we've been looking forward to forever. We got some news about an anime the other day, Splinter Cell. Where the hell was Splinter Cell? Where is this game? Why have we not heard anything about it? It's been 8 years since the last Splinter Cell game. It's been a really, really long time, and that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, the September last year, it was announced that a virtual reality version of a VR version would be coming out onto the Oculus, along with an Assassin's Creed game developed by Red Storm. Nothing. I'm still surprised. Just nothing. I mean, again, with all the sort of emphasis behind the series and all that sort of thing, it feels like it's still very much an alive property.
Yeah.
So to hear nothing is very weird to me.
Well, they keep putting Sam Fisher in other games.
Right.
That's exactly it, right, Mark? It's not just that they forgot about this character. That'd be one thing, if you're like, oh, this is a character they don't care about anymore. They're moving on past it. But they keep kind of throwing a little bit of salt in the wound by being like, oh, we remember Sam Fisher. We just don't remember him in the places you want to remember him in.
Right.
On top of that, there was also another missing game here, which has now gone several E3s in a row since we first found out about it. Beyond Good and Evil 2, the original one was one of my favorite games on GameCube. It was awesome. Seeing it rebooted in this sort of gritty, vaguely realistic style with horrible hairy pigmen a few years ago was exactly what I wanted to see. That E3 demo was amazing, incredibly ambitious, totally over the top, still gone. Still not here. This is obviously one of those games where I feel like they scoped it bigger than it needs to be. I was saying in the pre-show, I would love for this to just be like a single player, story-driven game. And I have a feeling they want to make it this, whole big games as a service thing to justify the cost of the engine and all that fun stuff. I would rather the game just comes out. I don't know how you all feel about this.
Yeah, I don't see this.
Yeah,
I don't see this ever coming out.
This
is it seems like, again, super ambitious. Michel Ancel, who was behind it, is no longer at Ubisoft. He, I think, now runs an animal sanctuary or something. This is, what they showed off made it look like they were sort of setting up to build sort of a next gen, Destiny-like, almost a little bit of No Man's Sky in there, just this massive. To create an entire galaxy is a bit of an undertaking, which is weird because again, it stems from a fairly straightforward. Single player adventure from a long time ago at this point. We've seen there was the earlier tech demo prior to the one that was shown at E3, which I think it leaked a while back. It's I feel like this is just constantly going to be, they're going to be cooking it up and it's never going to come out. And if it does, it's going to be kind of one of those, come and gone. It's a bummer because it looks really, really cool, but not even a mention of it doesn't make me really have the most faith in this.
Now, Max,
I agree, and I just sort of feel like it's the original Beyond Good and Evil was not a commercial success. Its sort of DNA is completely opposite to what Ubisoft's whole vision of its company is these days.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea where they're going to go with it. I'm unsurprised that it wasn't here, although I'm disappointed, and I agree with Max. I just don't know if we're going to see it.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if it's just one of those things where I don't know anything about the franchise. I never played the original. And so seeing that trailer 3 years ago, I know that it hit a lot of people really hard. They were very excited to see it. I felt nothing. I was just straight faced. And so it makes me wonder if I'm not alone, if I'm actually more common than you would think. And, they kind of tested the waters. They put out this thing. They put the creators on the stage and then they kind of poke around and they're like, okay, this actually isn't as hype as we think. There are certain people that I could also be very wrong, but it's very strange to stealth cancel this game, which seems to be happening. I don't know. It's very strange.
Well, the first game was a sleeper hit, so we'll see if the second game ever comes out. Hopefully it'll be an actual hit, but that's years from now, potentially. There's also Division, Star Wars, lots of, irons in the fire for Ubisoft. But for now, that is all the summer in our picnic baskets for today. Thank you so much for joining us. IGN Summer of Gaming continues with tons more exciting E3 coverage, like the Gearbox stream coming up in just a few minutes, and also showcases from Xbox and Bethesda, Square Enix tomorrow, and beyond. So much awesome stuff for all things Summer of Gaming, including a full schedule. You can find our coverage everywhere at IGN.com, on YouTube, social media, and even additional content on E3's online portal featuring virtual booths, articles, videos, and more. To my cast right here with me, to the production crew, to all the people watching, thank you so much. Stick around because IGN will be back with more right after this.
IGN Summer of Gaming 2021 is powered by Duracell, the official battery sponsor of Summer of Gaming 2021, and presented by USAA Insurance and Army National Guard. Pursue multiple paths while you serve. Reach your greatest potential with Army National Guard. And by the Amazon original movie, The Tomorrow War, exclusively on Prime Video July 2nd.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, the best user-generated videos and art, memes, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, ign-live, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Competition brings out the best in all of us. Well, mostly.
Oh, that's a controller break.
That's unfortunate. Welcome to IGN Compete, where we bring you the stories behind the esports headlines.
Reigning world champions.
From the triumphs
Carol takes the game
to the hardships
It's not heavy.
to the miracle moments that will go down in history.
I just can't believe it.
It's crazy. It's all here on IGN Compete.
God, I'm in disbelief.
Yo, welcome back. I told you that break would be short. We are back to wrap up our Ubisoft post show, but before we go, we have something very special for you, an interview with the amazing developers behind Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Let's check out a deep dive of this awesome new game. Let's take a look.
Tom Marks from IGN here with Xavier and David from Ubisoft to talk about Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, newly announced. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very exciting announcement. I was a huge fan of the first game, and obviously that first game was, it felt like sort of something special that it existed at all, right? Nintendo trusting an outside third-party developer like that with Mario seemed like a very big deal at the time. So first off, I just want to ask, did you ever imagine when you were making the first that you guys would be able to make a sequel? And how does it feel to be trusted with Mario again like this?
Yes, it's been such an adventure. We started in 2014. I don't think we ever thought where we would be today. It's incredible because it was just, the whole thing was an accomplishment. When we started to think about this, it was crazy, it was weird, it was also unexpected from the genre and what we did with the franchises and the work we did with Nintendo. And when we see the amount of players today, and everybody is super excited, loved what we did in the past, yeah, it's incredible. It just proves that novelty, creativity, weirdness, all of these can be truly linked to success, and we're very proud of that. And so now we want to expand, and we have so much to say still. So very, very excited.
David, obviously, I think everyone remembers that sort of iconic 2017 announcement, right? The reveal of the original thing, seeing Miyamoto on stage and kind of how emotional that was. Is it a great feeling as well, just to not only know that like Nintendo was so excited about it, but fans were so excited about it that now this sequel is coming about as well?
It was the greatest feeling ever, because I remember very well as it was yesterday that before landing in Los Angeles, I said to my team, "Oh my God, this is not going to work, guys. Sorry, what we have done. No one will love the game." I was so scared that at some point I was not being reasonable anymore. And the love that we received instead were like so overwhelming that I couldn't take it anymore. Like I basically cried out of happiness. But apart from that moment, apart from being able to work with Nintendo, I think that over the years, also with the DLC, that because we did the DLC on Mario Plus Rabbids called Donkey Kong Adventure, where we tried to expand the boundaries of the tactical genre even more, because Donkey Kong was going all over the battlefield, grabbing enemies and throwing them. I think that we built super strong relationship of passion and enthusiasm with our players. That has been the real driver for us to then jump on sparks of hope, deciding to make the game so ambitious as it is today, because we basically expanded the team from 100 people to more than 300. So we welcome more the new studios such as Chengdu, Pune, Montpellier, and they are helping us in Milan, in Paris, doing the game. So yes, I think that all the love that we received on those years, it's like a fuel for us to come up with something new.
And let's talk about Sparks of Hope specifically now, because this is what we're here to talk about is the direction you went with this game. And obviously the comparisons to Super Mario Galaxy are clear enough, both with the Lumas and Rosalina and that sort of stuff very specifically. But, you know, the Mario universe is expansive and weird and varied and goes all sorts of places. So David, I'm curious, what made you go with the direction of that sort of galaxy space adventure for this sequel?
When we started developing the game and creating the game, our first thought was, okay, it's a spiritual sequel of Mario Plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, but we are not designing it as a sequel. So it's still a sequel in a way, because we are still, the team is back. Rabbids Peach, Mario, and the other heroes are back. So, but the Mushroom Kingdom alone was not enough. So the whole universe of Mario plus Rabbids has been expanded on a cosmic level to being able to offer a journey to see the players and the heroes to go from planet to planet, explore those planets, and fight to save it. So there are for sure some references to our past game and also to Mario characters, but it's still an adventure of the Mario plus Rabbids series.
And one of the ideas that I know kind of came clear was the idea that it's not just a sequel, right? It's not just more of Mario Rabbids, and you guys have changed a lot kind of to that end, where now in true planet exploration style, right, the levels aren't linear anymore. You're wandering around these larger spaces. So Xavier, I was hoping you could maybe tell us a little bit about that. Kind of how big should we expect these planets to be? How much exploration is there in that regard?
Yeah, as David was saying, you know, the space opera expanding universe in the galaxy was very exciting. So when we came up with the planet system, we cannot talk about how many planets we planned so far because this would be spoiling a little bit, but we planned a lot of planets where each of them is very different. It has its own story, characters. They are super weird at the same time, and this, I guess, is the expected part from us. So the way it works is you arrive on a planet and then you explore, you discover you can go anywhere you want on that planet. So we worked a lot on the agency that we give to the players, depending on what they want to do between activities, talking to NPCs and characters, or doing puzzles, or doing fights. So basically that's the way we've built all the planets in terms of topography and approach. And it's great because it means depending on your style and what you want to do and where you want to go first, it's up to you. So we applied that to all the planets we have in the game.
And the original had also this very kind of classic, almost XCOM-like tactics grid-based system. This now is completely freeform movement, which is, I imagine, a pretty huge change mechanically in terms of how you guys are creating the game and making it all work. I'm curious, were there any sort of did anything pop up that was kind of unexpected problems or led to some sort of unexpected creative moments in making that switch from grid to freeform movement?
With the Mario plus Rabbids game, we always aim to surprise the player no matter what. We did it with the first one and we continued doing it with the DLC. And as I was saying before, even if this is the spiritual sequel, we never designed it as a sequel, but a new take on the tactical genre. So really, in this game, we were aspiring to push the tactical boundaries even more to provide a completely renewed combat system to our players. So we basically redesigned the whole combat system with the focus on the fluidity and the action offered by the possibility to move the players, the heroes, in real time. So you still have to move within an area of movement. So you still have the limits of movement. But in that area, you can, for example, control Mario directly, hide behind the cover, and then opening up your attack preview and directly see in-game the end result of what you are doing. So in Mario plus Rabbids, you were looking at the levels of the enemy, if they were changing numbers. Here, if you open up the attack preview and the enemy is within range of your attack, you see them being scared. So everything is more reactive, like a small cartoon. We wanted to open up this possibility for the player because we believe that being so swift in combat is going to be crucial to have a very nice and fluid experience. But still, the game is a tactical game, is built upon the foundation of Mario plus Rabbids as a tactical game. So you have all your elements to evaluate your position, to evaluate the enemy, to know more about that. You have a tactical cam and you have several other options that are really helping you as in a solid tactical game. So I believe that this new approach is opening up new possibilities for our players in terms of tactics.
We had to check between the tactical aspect and versus the action that we were adding while we keep what we started to do with Kingdom Battles. So this work was indeed a challenge, and that's what we're working on, and we believe we have something quite fresh. So that's part of the motivating part as well for us as designers and as a team, was to find this right approach between the two.
And Xavier, one of the things you also mentioned already was this idea of, when you're exploring the planets, you're talking to people, you're doing puzzles, and you kind of are more carefully engaging. Like when you go to engage in a battle, one of the big differences now is you're not just fighting that, now that it's not this linear progression of levels, you get transported to this other battle map. So I was wondering if you could talk about why that change came about and why you aren't just, fighting people where they stand this time around.
We wanted to give the this agency that I spoke about to the players. So basically having good information in exploration of what is happening between the activities or the threats, and the threats being the enemies. But not just the enemies, we also have what we call darkness puddles. Those are dark mist elements that are really impacting and consuming the energy of the planet. And basically, as soon as you touch an enemy or a dark mist puddle, for instance, you're indeed transported to the fight. And then we can be super creative in terms of what we present in the battle, in terms of the structure, in terms of what we show to the player as well. It's always reminiscent of what you saw in exploration, but then we can go crazy over what we give to the player in terms of the battlefield and the topography and different options that you have on the battle. So that's why we went for that. So it's all about the rhythm of what you want to do on the planet.
And David, last question. Obviously, we've talked a lot today about, you know, how you guys are changing the formula, how you're making it fresh and new and surprising. But I'm curious, was there anything that made its way into Sparks of Hope that you were maybe hoping would even go into the first game that you just couldn't quite fit or couldn't quite make work, that you're now have sort of found a home for in this sequel?
When we are developing a game, especially when we were developing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and Sparks of Hope, we always produce way more than what we can really develop. I mean, in terms of concept art, we come up with tons of ideas. In terms of narrative elements, we come up with a lot of proposals. But then you have to realize all of that. So for sure, let's say that it's like writing all your best idea on a bunch of post-it, and you throw it in the air, and the one that sticks on the rooftop are the one that you keep in the game. So there is always something that is deep in your heart you would like to save for another game. There was a couple of stuff that we have been able to save this time, but this will remain as a surprise for now.
That's totally fair. I'm very excited to finally get my hands on Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope whenever it does come out later next year. But thank you so much, Xavier and David, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It has been an honor.
IGN Summer of Gaming is powered by Duracell Optimum. All summer long, we're bringing you the game announcements, developer interviews, and all the demos you care about. So get comfortable and get ready to play. Upgrade your Xbox controller with Duracell Optimum batteries today.
Summer of Gaming is presented by the Army National Guard. So let's check in with our gaming guardsmen and find out what they thought about Ubisoft Forward.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Cam11B, a former Army sniper, currently working full-time as an esports manager for the Army National Guard. All right, so we just finished Ubisoft Forward, and one title I was not expecting was Rainbow Six Extraction. And holy crap, it looks awesome. So it is a 3-player co-op, essentially siege shooter with these amazing seamless executions. The gunplay looked great. It looks like there might be maybe some larger missions if an operator goes down and you're going to rescue. I don't know. I'm just really excited to see where it goes. And as we get more info, the biggest thing though, as you know, I enjoy co-op, and it is co-op. I cannot freaking wait. And it has crossplay, which it's 2021. Every game needs to have crossplay as standard. I'm super excited, and I cannot wait to learn more. So, what did you think of the Ubisoft Forward? Let us know in the chat. I'm Cam11B from the Army National Guard, and you can find us both here on Twitch.
Oh, hey there! Summer of Gaming still here because we will never, ever leave you. At least this summer. This fall, though, you are on your own! It's gonna be Mad Max out there without us, and good luck! All bets are off. Anyway, the IGN community is a lot more calm than we are, and they had a lot to say about the Ubisoft Forward. We will check back in with them in a second, but for now, we're gonna check out the Ubisoft Forward that we just saw and the Gearbox presentation that's coming up in just a sec. So, Max, thanks for looking handsome. You did really great just now. Good job. Let's go check in with Gearbox and see what they're working on.
Gearbox University was founded in 1999, just 15 years after this 80s orientation video was made. We offer numerous degrees across a multitude of fields, including sociopathology, supply chain management, and storytelling with a European-sounding accent. Gearbox University comprises 3 unique colleges that will place you on whichever path to success is right for you. At the College of Gearbox Software, we can shape you into the looting, shooting vault hunter you've always believed you could be. At the College of Gearbox Publishing, we offer advanced degrees in Norse mythology, projectile meteorology, or regular meteorology. You can even write your thesis on the deification of gravity. Finally, there's the College of whatever the hell else we're doing, with specialties in badass bunkernomics, history of magic, enlarged vehicle maneuvering, and yes, even Hollywood filmmaking. Did you hear we're making a Borderlands movie? It's true. Let's learn more about all the innovative opportunities you can find at Gearbox University. Dynamic, pioneering, groundbreaking.
Hey everybody, if you don't know me, I'm Randy Pitchford, the founder of the Gearbox Entertainment Company and executive producer of the Borderlands franchise and all of the great games that we do at Gearbox. I am right now on the set of the Borderlands motion picture, in development, in production. We're shooting. This is a live soundstage, and I thought, since I'm here, wouldn't it be cool if I walk you around a little bit and show you some of the cool stuff that we're doing? Let me walk you this way. This is a live set. There's guys working on the movie right now in real time. We've been everywhere. We've been in the caves of the Caustic Caverns.
What's up, haters?
We've been in the desert, in the sand quarries. We've been in the stone quarries, doing all kinds of amazing stuff. Actually, look, this is. Hey Eli, can I grab you for a second?
Yes.
This is Eli Roth, our director.
Hey everybody.
This is E3. These
What's
are
up,
our
guys?
gamers. And you've got Edgar
I
here.
know. We have so much. He doesn't exist in the game, but he exists in the movie and in real life. It's Edgar Ramirez.
Well, Edgar Ramirez's character Atlas exists hypothetically in the game. We've never met him before in the game or in real life. We're meeting Atlas for the first time in this movie story. I'm so stoked that you're here doing this.
Thank you, man. I'm very happy.
This is going to be a blast.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Look, I feel like we're just getting started. The whole point is to entertain people, and this movie that Eli's making, it's unreal.
I mean, we have. I don't want to say what we're filming, but it's lots of blood, lots of guts. It's totally bonkers, but it's also very Borderlands. I have learned how to twirl a Vlad off.
You know what? I think we should. Let me show this.
Yeah, we could show that.
This is
the stunt one. That's
this is video game fans will recognize this is the Infinity. It's a Vlad Infinity. And you've gotten pretty good at twirling.
Well, they have ones that actually, this one is light, so I could really learn to twirl because I don't want to smash a real one.
Good at that.
But Kate's amazing. She can side twirl, she can double twirl.
That's right.
She can do the front twirl.
Isn't it unbelievable how she's brought Lilith to life? I can't wait for you to see. Kate is a god.
I saw, everyone thinks of Kate from Blue Jasmine or Carol, all the things she's done. And House of the Clock on Its Walls, I saw how unbelievably funny she was. And I noticed that she brought out the great dramatic acting in Jack Black, and Jack brought out the great comedy in Kate. She was so into it. She wants to really, understand it from the inside out. Like, what are the powers? Where do they come from?
It's wild to watch her walk like Lilith. That blew my mind. She's totally done it.
We want to make a real great science fiction movie.
we don't want to just make a great video game adaptation movie.
Right.
I just want it to be a great.
Well, that's the key, right?
Great you just have to make a great sci-fi movie. Period.
And it's really come to life. So for Borderlands fans who play the video game, if you have people in your lives that you want to introduce to Borderlands but aren't going to play the game with you, this movie's how you do it. You can bring your family, your loved ones, bring them to the movie.
We want this
and introduce them to Borderlands.
Yeah,
They're gonna love it.
We want this to be like a gateway drug for the non-Borderlands fans. I mean, look, the great thing about the game is there's so much to it that you're telling 80 hours of story every time. I mean, people can live in the world, so we have to create a different experience. And the experience has to be thrilling in a different way and exciting. Have all the things that the fans love. Easily the best cast I've ever worked with, but like just a world-class cast of actors that all came in just to come in and play, and everyone is so into their characters. Like we see way Florian's playing Creed.
Florian is killing it.
Ariana is Tiny Tina.
She's
Kevin
doing
is
amazing.
Roland. I mean, Kevin is a man on a mission.
I can't believe
like he's
watching
playing like
Kevin
a full action star.
Go full action star. I think he's really going to surprise people. I think Kevin's over there actually, and I know Lisa is trying. Lisa, our
trying to
first
get a
AD,
shot. You go get him.
You go to work. All right, come with me, guys. Come with me. I'm going to see if I can find Ari and one of the producers and Emmy. The R-Odds are legendary. Hey, Ari. Can I interrupt you, man? Guys, this is Emmy and Ari from Arad Productions. Ari Arad has made a whole bunch of awesome movies. You're probably familiar with the Arads from Marvel, right? Because Avi Arad was the founder and the CEO of Marvel Studios, and they created a movie called Spider-Man, and then Iron Man. I believe you were the executive producer.
Yeah, I worked on that one.
You worked on, and then the X-Men, and then the Avengers, and I think it's gone from there. These are the most successful movies of all time for comic books. And the pitch you gave me was, hey, that was cool. We figured it out with comic books. We think that video games are the next frontier of this, and we think Borderlands is the perfect video game. And you were really flattering. And how was I to you? I was kind of a jerk, wasn't I?
You made us work for it. You made us work for it. But you were right. You were right.
Well, you have to understand, like, we get hit up from Hollywood people all the time, and it's a different world. Like, what we have to do to make video games is a completely different skill set than what you care about in making these incredible films. And I wanted to make sure that if we were going to partner with somebody on the film side, that it was with people that cared about our universe, cared about our fans, and cared about the character and the worlds that we created, and was going to actually develop it. Not just, a lot of these guys will collect options and just throw it at studios, just see where they can get business done. And I probably beat you up for like 2 years plus.
Oh yeah.
We called it dating for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. I remember.
You remember, we were dating for years. Yes. And but we did a deal, and it's been a long road.
Yeah, but you know what? We're here and we're psyched, and it's been worth it. Feels like we used that time pretty well.
I can't believe it.
And we're really proud of where we're at.
Absolutely. It's pretty amazing. So we're more than halfway done with the shooting.
Yeah. Well,
we're about 2/3 of the way done. Oh, look at this.
All right.
We got Eli again.
We have a really funny shot.
Oh yeah?
With the trash. We should be shooting it behind the scenes.
I was told that we can't.
I don't think we can give it away, but I think that for him, anyways, for our behind the scenes, we should get it.
Oh. So I'll tell you what, you guys. This is Eli. This is Ari. Oh, don't look that way. You can't. No, this way. Look this way. We can't show. Yes. I don't want to. Okay. So guys, it's going to be an amazing E3. Borderlands, the film, is going to be absolutely incredible. We've got some cool stuff to show you. I know some of you are interested in seeing more about the new game that we have announced, and learning more from Gearbox Publishing. So you're going to get all that. I wish I could be there in person, but since we're digital, we're going to do it this way. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.
Among the many innovative courses offered by Gearbox University, make sure you check out Borderlands Science. By solving the puzzles, you can contribute to real-world research studying the human gut microbiome. For you freshmen in the audience, here's our leading scientist, Mayim Bialik.
By playing Borderlands 3, you can contribute to real-world scientific research that helps real people. You'll be directly helping our scientists organize and compare this doo-doo.
I'm the conductor of the poop train! With Borderlands Science, you too can be the conductor of the poop train And while you'll reap in-game rewards when you play, the real reward is knowing that you're making the world a better place. Gearbox University. We're not even charging tuition for this.
The Homeworld game started in the mid-90s. It would be the first ever truly 3D RTS. So that was a big deal in, the late 90s.
Fate. It soars on the wind. It rises from the grave. It stalks the ocean floor. You cannot hide from fate. But you can make your own.
Quick question. We're not talking about yet, right?
That is correct.
It's my favorite. Hi, I'm Kayla Belmore, and I'm senior producer on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So what's really unique about Wonderlands is it's a looter shooter, which is, pretty classic for Gearbox software, but for the first time ever, we're setting it in a brand new fantasy environment. Even though it's inspired by some of the content we've made before with Assault on Dragon's Keep, a fan favorite.
Roll for initiative, suckers!
It's a completely standalone plot, new set of characters with some nods to the past, but if you've never played a Borderlands game before, you can absolutely jump right in and enjoy it just as much. So we're absolutely excited to talk about all of our new enemy types. So that is one of our wyvern enemies. You will absolutely be fighting them. They're not your average wyvern. So of course we've got goblins. You definitely can't have a fantasy game without goblins, but again, we like to make them our own. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope that you are as stoked as we are about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Follow us on our social channels to find out the latest and greatest news. Enjoy the rest of the show.
This franchise has been around for so long. Here we are years later, and we keep looking at Homeworld 3, this has to happen.
The giants have come to Midgard, and you have been chosen by the gods to protect this realm. But your first task is to find some new clothes that aren't as drafty. Your tribe's journey starts in the wilderness. Hunt down pets, gather rare resources, and explore the untamed world. Once you've plundered all you can carry, return to your village and use those resources to forge Viking-worthy gear. You must protect the seed of Yggdrasil at all costs, or this world and everything in it will be destroyed forever. So take heed. Ahead things rise when the sun sets. Destroy these dark spirits before they destroy the seed. Each victorious knight makes way for a new day, to venture into new lands, build to greater heights, and face fiercer creatures. And with great risk comes great rewards. But be careful, you're of little use to Midgard squashed by a troll. Craft legendary weapons, build deadly defenses, and grow the strength of your tribe, because those giants are on their way. And it's time for us to end their path of destruction. Let's show them our might is greater than their height. As the saying goes, Valhalla! Can't wait!
Hello everyone, my name is Juan Maroda. I'm the creative director at Northville. We're just under 2 months away from finally launching our upcoming 10-player co-op action RPG, Tribes of Midgard, and deliver it to you on July 27th on PS5, PS4, and Steam. In Tribes of Midgard, you play as an ign-live, a glorious Viking hero that's been returned to Midgard in order to protect the seed of Yggdrasil, the World Tree. Every time you start a new run, you would want to go out and explore this new world, gather some resources, fight enemies, and return to your village in order to craft better equipment and tools to help you survive. You can also upgrade and fortify your village, because each night, creatures from hell will emerge from the depth to attack your tree. Make it through the night to go back out to raid enemy camps, dwell in caves, take part in events, go on quests, build anywhere, and of course, loot countless items to gain experience and level up your Viking. We now have 8 classes in the game, each with their own abilities, specificities, and playstyle. As you gain experience, you level up to unlock even more skills, which you can then combine with dozens of runes for over-the-top results. But those nightly creatures aren't even your biggest threat. You must get ready and prepare for your biggest challenge, and I mean biggest challenge to date. Every couple of days, a giant will emerge and walk towards your village with the intent of destroying the seed of Yggdrasil. You must stop it and take it down, whatever the cost, otherwise it's game over. You can of course play Tribes of Midgard completely on your own, but we highly recommend that you bring along 9 friends to thrive together. We cannot wait to share more information about this ever-growing epic saga in the weeks to come. In the meantime, you can already pre-order the game right now to earn exclusive items and be among the first to defend Midgard against Ragnarok. Because as they say, Valhalla can wait. Thanks for watching. Sail.
At Gearbox University, it's not all textbooks and calculators. Sometimes we like to kick back and have a little fun. A good sense of humor is of vital importance if you want to succeed in these halls. Here's a list of sensible wisecracks you might hear when you're exploring our campus. Why did the tribe of Midgard cross the road? To get to the Thor side. Knock knock. Who is there? The commando. The commando who? I don't know. What are you axing me for? Welcome to the Homeworld Diner. Our special today is the dessert of carrot. Help! I've Godfallen and I can't get up. Claptrap, Tiny Tina, and Mad Moxie walk into a bar. Wait, I think Moxie owns the bar, so why would she be walking in? She'd already be there. And is Tiny Tina old enough to drink? Maybe it doesn't matter in space. Also, what's the punchline? And how is Claptrap walking in? I want to say he counts as a unicycle. Okay, we'll work on this before we submit to E3. Gearbox University. Our comedy school is a 2-year degree.
Macros thinks the war is over. After all your promises, but our fight has just begun. Our duty is to carry the burden of war. Or just savor the victory. is death, when death is the end of our fun.
The darkness has breached reality. It is time, my champion.
Know how this is going to end.
Time for your madness to end, brother.
I was never just your brother. I am your god.
And after all your promises, you've ripped it too.
Greetings everyone, my name is Dick Hain and I'm the Senior Technical Producer at Counterplay Games. First and foremost, on behalf of everyone at CPG and Gearbox alike, I want to thank you for being part of Godfall's journey up until this point. It's crazy to think that Godfall just launched in November of last year. Our developers have been hard at work ever since. In fact, this past February, we launched the massive Primal update, which included new content such as additional rooms in Tower of Trials, Primal gear, Ascension levels, and much, much more. But I'm excited to announce today that on August 10th, we will be launching Godfall on the PlayStation 4. Not only that, but owning Godfall on the PS4 entitles you to a free PS5 upgrade, and we will support cross-gen play so PS4 and PS5 users can seamlessly co-op together. And if you've been struggling in the Ascended Tower of Trials, don't worry, we're adding matchmaking. But really, matchmaking and the PS4 edition are just the tip of the iceberg because we are so excited to launch our first ever expansion, which we've entitled Fire and Darkness. Fire and Darkness will take players into the Fire Realm for the first time ever, where they'll be met with new challenges, enemies, bosses, trophies, cosmetics, and so much more. But alongside Fire and Darkness, we're also releasing a free content update, which we're calling the Lightbringer update. The main component of the Lightbringer update is a new endgame loop, which we're calling Lightbringer. In Lightbringer, players will fight off the darkness that threatens Empyreon and be rewarded with a new loot type, Cursed Loot. Cursed Loot will challenge the player to complete particular objectives in order to lift the curse and awaken them. Basically, if you thought Primal gear was tough, you ain't seen nothing yet. And then, of course, we want to make fashion the forefront of Godfall, so we have added a huge library of cosmetics to both the Lightbringer update and the expansion alike, all of which can be unlocked by simply completing objectives in the game. Thank you so much for your time today. It is an honor to be speaking here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your E3.
There's a really unique tone and vibe and feel to Homeworld that hasn't been emulated since. It's not a prequel, it's not a remaster, it is Homeworld 3. It is the next Homeworld.
We're glad you've chosen Gearbox University for your higher education endeavors. As you engage in your academic pursuits, don't forget to try out our extracurricular activities. Show off your shutterbug talents in the photography club. Make lasting connections in our chapter houses. Or if you're a boring person, you can always try out for the debate team. We also have sporting events, but try not to party too hard at the homecoming game, or you'll end up looking like this. Be sure to follow us on social media, where you'll occasionally find free shift codes, as well as news and announcements about our latest scholastic offerings. Gearbox University, we can shape your future, because thinking for yourself is hard. Now, go buy all our games.
We're back. I hope you guys had an awesome presentation from all the Gearbox games in development and Gearbox publishing products coming. Listen, I'm standing outside Kevin Hart's trailer door. I'm just gonna. You guys want to meet him? I think he wants to meet you guys. Let's see if he opens. Hey Kevin, you got a minute?
Yeah.
Borderlands fans, meet Kevin Hart.
How you guys doing, man? Pretty pumped up right now to meet you guys. Randy, you should tell them actually how big I am in person. It's a great opportunity.
I'm 6'3", and
yeah, they can get a good grasp of how much height I put on for this role right now.
Dude, you are freaking awesome. Like you don't understand. Like you're a freaking action hero.
Thank you, man.
This is amazing watching you work.
You know
you're
what?
blowing my mind.
I'm going to say I'll one up you. I'll say it's amazing for me to have the opportunity to portray the character of Roland, of course, who you're very familiar with, because this is your creation. I think the biggest and best thing is the surprise that you guys are going to be in for. Because you got no idea what I'm doing or how I'm doing or why I'm doing it. You got no idea the level that I came in at. You got no idea how much preparation I decided to put into this particular character in this role. You got no idea. You got no idea. You don't even know what's under this jacket.
OMG! It's metal!
You got no idea. My job is to come in, not only be prepared, but to shock. And I think right now this is what we're doing.
We are doing it. I've seen some pretty, like,
it's intense.
No one's ever seen you like this before.
No, I can honestly say, man, Eli is doing such a phenomenal job. He's directing.
It's also fun to work with him. Like, he's working his ass off. Well, everyone's working their ass off.
Absolutely. You got an amazing cast. Kate, Jamie, Ariana, myself, Flo, our director, Eli, Jack Black. You put an amazing group of people together. So shouts out to you, your team at Gearbox. Shouts out to Lionsgate, for seeing that this is something that could be phenomenal. Shouts out to the world of Pandora knowers. Okay, you guys that know and love this world, I promise you, you're going to be in complete awe when you see how real we have made it become from a place of visual. You're going to believe that you're in this place with it. So
wow, you're making me cry, man.
It's dope,
my eyes are welling up.
No,
hey, thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate you taking a minute to introduce yourself to our fans.
No problem. I'm going back in here in the weight room.
I'll see you later.
I got a weight room in here. Just rolling lifts weights in between takes. You'll know why later. Take it easy, man.
Take it easy, Kevin. Thanks, man. Holy crap, you guys. I can't wait for you to see this movie. It won't be long, but we still got a lot of work to do. We're a little bit more than halfway done with production. And but you know what? Back at home at Gearbox, all the great people that created this universe that I'm here representing on behalf of all the talent at Gearbox, we're hard at work making new stuff. So check this out, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers, everybody.
For those of you who've never seen the greatest the world has ever revealed, I'd like to introduce myself. Let's go! I'm out here making them mad, cause I got it. Too good at being too bad, cause I got it. Stop reaching and being sad, cause I got it. I just got it, yeah. I just got it. Let the blood sport begin! I'm out here making them mad, cause I got it. Too good at being too bad, cause I got it. Stop reaching and being sad, cause I got it. I just got it, yeah. I just got it.
Jesus H. Reindeer games, my dude!
I'm the one that got the swag, I'm the one that got him sad. I don't do this here to brag, I just got it. I'm the reason why you mad, I'm the reason why they glance. I ain't even try to brag, I just got it. I said, please don't go and go, you should just leave me alone. I think
This fall, the Far Cry series returns with Far Cry 6, and I absolutely cannot wait to find out more about it. So luckily, here to tell me more about it is the game's narrative director, Navid Kavari, and lead game designer, David Grivel. Hey guys, what's up?
Hey. Hello.
Okay, so I'm tremendously excited for this game. I love Far Cry. This is, I'm hearing, the biggest Far Cry game yet. I've never really felt like the Far Cry game